You know the feeling you're scrolling through your feed and a really sensational image catches your eye?
Right. Or maybe it's a deeply convincing video.
Yeah, exactly. And right there in the back of your mind, there's that tiny nagging whisper asking, is any of this actually real?
It's a very common feeling these days.
It is. And today we're doing a deep dive to extract the core insights from a fascinating, honestly urgent source document. And our mission today is to pull apart its framework, to figure out how we might actually fix the internet's fundamental crisis of trust.
Because it really is a profound crisis. And, for anyone listening, that sense of digital vertigo you feel, it is fully warranted.
Yeah.
The document we're analyzing, it really doesn't mince words about the scale of the problem. We are way past the era of isolated trolls making crude Photoshop.
Oh, totally. It's a whole different ball game now.
Exactly. We're facing this explosive, industrialized growth of computer-generated images, text, and videos. And they're deployed with intentional, malicious design.
And the source makes a really vital distinction here, which I found fascinating. It's not just the existence of the fake content that's breaking the system.
Right. The volume is bad, but that's not the fatal blow.
Right. The fatal blow is how major platforms have basically normalized automated bot networks. Like, they just let them operate.
Yes. And those bots artificially amplify fabricated narratives.
Exactly. They create this massive illusory consensus. I mean, when 1,000 accounts instantly retweet a generated image of a political event, it hijacks human psychology. We are hardwired to trust the crowd,
Which is precisely where the massive geopolitical threat emerges.
Yeah, because we're not just talking about spammers selling fake watches anymore.
No, not at all. The source highlights the involvement of state actors and their proxies. We are talking about coordinated military or intelligence operations. They use these vast server farms to spin up, tens of thousands of automated accounts that perfectly mimic organic users.
And they manipulate the distribution algorithms.
Exactly, to inject false realities directly into the public square. It leaves the average person completely unequipped to verify the authenticity or the source or even the intent of what they're looking at.
Okay, let's unpack this, because going backward to fix the internet feels completely counterintuitive.
It does sound a bit backwards at first.
Yeah, but the way the author frames the solution, like through a historical lens, is really compelling. The document insists that before we try to patch the digital ecosystem, we have to look backwards at how humanity established authenticity before the digital age.
Right. To solve the modern authentication crisis, we actually have to examine the original architecture of human trust.
So where do we start?
Well, the earliest, most fundamental model of trust identified in the source is the small settlement, the village.
Okay, the village.
In that environment, trust was entirely rooted in proximity and local visibility.
So, like, small town gossip.
Basically, yes. Transactions were witnessed by the community.
I mean, it might have been imperfect, but at least you knew if the person whispering the rumor was an actual human being from your neighborhood.
Right.
Not a million coordinated bots.
Exactly. The friction of the physical world essentially acted as a security measure.
How so?
Well, if someone claimed a piece of land or brokered a trade, their physical body was literally tethered to that claim. Reputation mattered deeply because it carried tangible consequences.
Because everyone knew where you lived.
Right. Social and religious structures, covenants, rituals, they all formed this really robust web of accountability.
So the village model relied on a shared, immediate understanding of identity.
Yes. If a dispute arose, the elders or the witnesses knew both parties intimately. But, as commerce expanded...
People started traveling further.
Exactly. As trade routes lengthened and jurisdictions grew more complex, that localized proximity model began to buckle.
Because you can't rely on local witnesses to vouch for a merchant who's operating 3 towns over.
Precisely. Which necessitated a major technology upgrade.
Huh.
Society had to invent a mechanism that could carry trust across distances without requiring the person to be physically in the room.
And that brings us to the written record, and specifically the signature.
What's fascinating here is how the conventions around those signatures evolved. They started as simple marks, but grew into this elaborate, legally binding ecosystem.
The document mentions the 15th century, right?
Yes. By the 15th century, as merchants and wealthier classes expanded their reach, signatures became deeply embedded in legal documents. It was a massive societal shift.
So it wasn't just about making a scribble on a page.
No, not at all. It involved the integration of dating, highly specific formatting, and a consistency of style that could actually be scrutinized.
And it required an entire institutional scaffolding to function. Like, I mean, think about the rise of banking and personal checks.
Right, because a signature is only as good as the institution willing to verify it.
Exactly. They verify it against a trusted master sample kept in a ledger. And that system scaled beautifully. As education spread, it allowed individuals to authorize massive transfers of wealth and property with just a pen stroke.
It's a remarkably resilient framework.
It really is. The document even highlights that physical, wet signatures remain legally valid today, and in some UK transactions, they're still absolutely required.
It essentially built the modern global economy, yet its application to the digital sphere is where we see a catastrophic failure.
Okay, so why is that? If we have centuries of signature-based law, why is that framework totally failing to protect us on social media today?
Well, the core vulnerability of the wet signature model is latency. Physical signatures are inherently slow to verify.
They take time.
Exactly. In the analog world, to keep commerce flowing smoothly, society adopted a pragmatic compromise. In everyday, lower-value situations, signatures are generally assumed to be valid unless they're actively challenged.
Wait, I have to push back on that logic a bit.
Okay?
So the entire system we've relied on for centuries is basically assume it's real until the check bounces.
In essence, yes.
I mean, I understand how that works when a landlord can take you to court over a bad lease. There is a mechanism to fix things. But how does that work when the bounce check is a viral, fabricated image sent to millions of people?
It doesn't. And that is the exact breakdown the source identifies.
Okay.
See, in the physical realm, the latency of communication allows time for redress.
Right.
If fraud is discovered after the transaction, you can reverse a bank transfer. You can seek damages through the legal system or let insurance absorb the financial shock.
The harm is quantifiable.
Yeah.
And usually reversible.
Exactly. But in the digital ecosystem, that model completely breaks down.
Because you cannot reverse a viral deepfake.
No, you can't. If a state actor releases a manipulated video of a geopolitical incident or, say, a catastrophic financial event, it hits millions of feeds in seconds.
Yeah, the algorithms just push it to the top of the trending charts before a human moderator even finishes their morning coffee.
And by the time an independent fact-checker flags it 3 days later,
the real-world damage is done. The impact on markets, elections, societal stability, it's already permanently lodged in the public consciousness.
if we connect this to the bigger picture, the digital ecosystem has completely eradicated the latency that made the old trust model viable.
Because automatic amplification removes our ability to react.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Because the harm caused by false information at digital speeds is instantaneous and irreversible, we can no longer rely on post-facto corrections.
We can't just assume things are valid until challenged.
Right. The document argues that we absolutely must mandate proactive verification before the distribution happens.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the source doesn't just, diagnose the terminal illness of our current trust model. It actually provides a specific, actionable blueprint for a new one.
It does. It lays out 4 distinct factors that must be tested to assess digital authenticity.
Okay, let's break these down, and maybe let's ground this in a scenario. Imagine a highly inflammatory video surfaces online, claiming to show a violent clash in a major capital city.
That's a perfect test case.
Okay, so what's the first factor?
Under the sources framework, before that video is allowed to be algorithmically boosted to millions, the system must interrogate the origin.
Origin, so where did it come from?
Exactly. Where did the content come from, and can that first touch point be independently confirmed?
Like, did this originate from the verified hardware of a freelance journalist's smartphone camera, complete with cryptographic location data? Or was the file birthed on a virtual machine inside a server farm known for generating fake media?
Right. Establishing the genesis is crucial. And it leads directly to the second factor, which focuses on the journey.
Okay, what's that one?
The path to access. The system must analyze the route the digital file took to reach the point of distribution.
Oh, it's like tracking a package in the mail.
That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah, like if the tracking shows your package suddenly teleporting from one continent to another with 0 scans in between, you instantly know there's a gap or an anomaly.
Exactly.
We need that exact same tracking for a digital video. If our hypothetical protest video claims to be shot in London, but the digital breadcrumbs show the data moving through secure servers in a completely unrelated, hostile nation before popping up on a brand new account.
The system should instantly halt its distribution. Analyzing those network hops is vital for spotting those anomalies.
Okay, so that's origin and path. What's the third factor?
The third factor the document requires us to test is the author. Who made it, and what are their affiliations and locations?
And I'm guessing this goes far beyond just checking if the account has a blue check mark or a bio that says real human.
Oh, absolutely. Those are trivially easy for a bot farm to generate.
Right.
The document explicitly demands a rigorous authentication process. It has to definitively separate automated bots from real individuals, and it must use independent, unconnected sources to do so.
So it's essentially an attempt to recreate the proximity of the village, but in a digital space.
That's a profound way to put it, yes.
You need a way to prove that the entity pushing the video is an accountable member of the digital community, not 1,000 masked proxies just shouting in unison to trick the algorithm.
Exactly. Now, moving to the fourth and final factor. The system must interrogate content uniqueness.
Uniqueness, meaning, is it actually unique?
Right. Or is it computationally similar to known fakes? Are there patterns suggesting coordination or manipulation?
Okay, but when the text says computationally similar, we are talking about something much deeper than whether two videos just look the same to the human eye.
Way deeper. We are talking about the underlying mathematics of the file.
Wow.
AI and algorithmic tools can analyze the hashing, the metadata structures, the pixel-level artifacts, even if a bad actor slightly alters a known deepfake.
Like changing the color grading or cropping it to trick standard filters?
Exactly. Even then, the core computational fingerprint often remains identical to previously debunked material.
Or I guess it might reveal the digital assembly line itself.
What do you mean?
Like if our hypothetical protest video shares the exact same rendering artifacts and compression patterns as 10,000 other fake videos generated by a specific botnet, then it is not a unique piece of journalism. It's mass-produced propaganda.
Spot on. So the synthesis of these four factors, origin, path, author, and uniqueness, creates a formidable barrier to synthetic media.
Okay, but knowing what to test is completely useless without knowing who is responsible for doing the testing, like who actually runs these checks.
Well, defining the criteria is only half the battle. The source document insists we must designate a trusted vouching authority to execute these tests.
And the document has a definitive answer for who that should be.
It does. It places this responsibility squarely on the platform operators, the social media companies themselves.
Wait, really? Because they have ultimate responsibility for distributing the information.
The logic is straightforward. They control the infrastructure, they own the algorithmic pipes that distribute the information, and they profit immensely from the engagement it generates.
Okay.
Therefore, they must act as the trusted vouching authority. They have to run these rigorous checks before they allow their networks to be used as amplification tools.
I mean, I have to push back hard on this.
It's a controversial point.
Yeah, because this document is essentially suggesting we hand over the keys to digital truth to the very same tech giants who engineered this crisis in the first place, giving a social media CEO the ultimate monopoly on deciding what is authentic and allowed to be seen. That sounds like an absolute nightmare for free speech.
That is the natural fear. But the document's framework is more nuanced than asking platforms to be arbiters of absolute truth.
How so?
The platform is not vouching for the political or philosophical accuracy of the statement.
Okay.
They are vouching for the process. They are attesting that the origin is verifiable, the path is unbroken, the author is human, and the content is not computationally synthetic.
Okay, I see. So they are authenticating the envelope, not censoring the letter inside.
Exactly.
But even if we accept that distinction, how does the user actually know these invisible back-end checks are happening? I mean, public trust is already shattered. Just putting out a press release saying, we check the factors now isn't going to convince anyone.
And the source addresses that exact vulnerability. For the public to regain confidence, the platforms must provide a clear, highly visible, and meaningful indication that these checks were done.
Like a digital signing.
Yes. The digital verification must be surfaced directly to the user interface. When you view a piece of media, you should immediately see the cryptographic proof that the platform has vouched for its origin and path.
Like a cryptographic seal of approval attached to the media itself.
Right. And if that seal is missing or broken, the user is immediately warned that the media is unverified and potentially synthetic. AI can help investigate these factors, especially checking similarity to known fakes.
But wait, implementing that kind of cryptographic tracking and AI-driven analysis across the billions of images and videos uploaded globally every single day.
It's a massive undertaking.
The computational burden is unfathomable. The processing power alone would be astronomical.
This raises an important question, and it is one the document tackles head-on.
Okay.
As the sheer volume of content increases, the computational effort required to run these rigorous AI checks will almost certainly create friction in the system.
Meaning it will delay things.
Yes, it might actually delay the publication and distribution of content.
Which flies directly in the face of the foundational business model of modern social media. I mean, these platforms are engineered to remove all friction. They want you sharing and reacting in milliseconds.
And that lack of friction is exactly what malicious actors exploit.
Ah.
Currently, a state proxy can spin up a bot network, generate a hyper-realistic fake video, and push it to millions of feeds instantly. And they incur virtually zero economic cost.
Right, it's cheap for them.
The source argues that platform responsibility has been deferred for far too long. If platforms faced meaningful consequences, if they were legally or economically liable for distributing false info represented as authentic, their incentives would shift overnight.
They would invest in safer distribution mechanisms, make the platforms pay the price of verification rather than forcing society to pay the catastrophic price of misinformation.
Exactly.
I see the end game here. The ultimate aim is to make the creation and large-scale distribution of false information computationally and economically costly.
You disrupt the business model of propaganda.
Right. You make it so expensive to bypass these verification factors that it becomes completely unattractive as a propaganda channel.
The bad actors will find that the resources required to slip synthetic media past a robust, platform-mandated vouching system simply outweigh the geopolitical benefits.
So what does this all mean? We have tracked a truly fascinating evolution today.
We really have.
We started by exploring how early human trust relied entirely on the physical proximity of the village. Then, as our world expanded, we engineered the signature, which was this brilliant, institutionally backed system that let us trust written agreements across vast distances.
Huge leap forward.
Definitely. But we've also seen how the core assumption of that era, that we can assume validity because we have the time to seek redress later, utterly collapses on instantaneous, automated digital networks.
The damage done by viral deepfakes is irreversible.
Exactly. So to survive this era, we need a modern equivalent of the signature, a desperate modern need for visible, enforceable, and operational digital authenticity.
We must force the platforms that control the distribution pipes to act as trusted vouching authorities. They have to proactively test the origin, the path, the author, and the computational uniqueness of every piece of media before it is amplified.
And they have to prove they did the work with a visible digital seal that we can actually see. It's a massive shift.
A shift that requires a profound trade-off, which leaves us with a final, lingering question inspired by the source's point on AI processing times.
Right, the delay.
The source suggests that running these comprehensive AI verifications at scale will inevitably delay the publication of content. And it proposes that this delay might not be a bad thing.
It's wild to even think about. It means the end of real-time virality.
It does. It forces us to ask ourselves a difficult question. Are we, as a society, willing to permanently sacrifice the instant, real-time gratification of our social media feeds?
Wow.
Are we truly prepared to accept slower networks and mandatory delays in our feeds if introducing that friction is the only proven way to guarantee that the world we are seeing through our screens is actually real?